How long did you date him?
5 months. I was 20, and I think every girl should have such a wonderful experience when she's
I think so too.
That young and, you know.
Diane Lane is one of Hollywood's most respected and enduring actresses, known for her nuanced performances and quiet strength both on and off screen. While her career has often captured the spotlight, her personal life has largely remained private, sparking curiosity and occasional media speculation over the years. Among the figures she has been romantically linked with are actors and musicians who have left their own marks on entertainment history. From verified marriages to fleeting Hollywood romances and media-reported crushes, here are 7 artists Diane Lane had intimacy with. Number 7. Christopher Lambert. In the late 1980s, Diane Lane's life intersected with the enigmatic French-American actor Christopher Lambert, best known for his role in the cult classic Highlander. Their meeting, amid the glamour and whirlwind of Hollywood's elite, sparked a romance that would lead to marriage in 1988. At just 22, Lane was already demonstrating the poise and maturity that would define her career, while Lambert, in his mid-30s, was navigating international stardom with a brooding charm that drew attention on both sides of the Atlantic. Together, they embodied the kind of on-screen chemistry that tabloids love to speculate about, even when the couple largely avoided the public eye. Lane and Lambert's marriage was not just a headline, it was a formative period for both actors. The union produced one daughter, Eleanor, adding a deeply personal dimension to their story that extended beyond Hollywood glitz. Balancing parenthood with careers in the spotlight, they often chose discretion over exposure, a choice that would become a hallmark of Lane's approach to her personal life. Unlike many celebrity marriages of the era, theirs did not rely on media hype or public appearances to define itself. Instead, the focus remained on family and the quiet rhythms of life away from the cameras. The relationship, however, was not without its challenges. Hollywood in the late 1980s and early 90s was a landscape defined by long hours on set, international filming schedules, and the relentless scrutiny of gossip columns. Lane, ever the private individual, navigated this environment with grace, managing to maintain both her career trajectory and her personal dignity. Lambert, too, was an international figure whose projects often took him across continents, creating a distance that would eventually test the endurance of their marriage. Their divorce in 1994 marked the end of an era, but did not diminish the significance of their years together. For Lane, the relationship with Lambert was both a personal and professional milestone, a chapter that contributed to her understanding of love, family, and the complexities of maintaining intimacy under the constant gaze of public attention. While the media often portrayed celebrity relationships as fleeting or superficial, Lane's marriage to Lambert stands out as a reminder that genuine connections can exist even amid fame, chaos, and public speculation. Even today, Christopher Lambert remains a notable figure in Lane's romantic history, representing her first major marriage and the early lessons of balancing love with a demanding career. Their story is a window into a different time in Hollywood, one where discretion was as much a statement of character as any red carpet appearance. Number 6. Josh Brolin. Diane Lane's marriage to Josh Brolin marked another prominent chapter in her personal life, one that unfolded in the mid-2000s amid the glare of Hollywood attention. Unlike her previous marriage to Christopher Lambert, Lane's relationship with Brolin was highly visible, partly because both were well-established actors with careers that continued to attract public interest. They tied the knot in 2004, a union that merged two creative forces navigating the complexities of Hollywood fame, personal ambition, and family life. Brolin, already known for roles in films like No Country for Old Men and The Goonies, brought a grounded presence to their relationship. Lane, who had by then built a reputation for graceful discretion, complimented him with her calm, understated approach to fame. Together, they managed the delicate balance of maintaining a family life while being constantly scrutinized by the media. Though the marriage eventually ended in divorce in 2013, the years they shared reflected a period of mutual support and shared experiences in the often unpredictable world of entertainment. The couple's relationship was characterized by its mix of public appearances and private moments. They were occasionally seen together at premieres and industry events, yet Lane remained committed to keeping the intimate details of their marriage out of the tabloids. Their union also highlighted the challenges of blending careers and personal life, as both were frequently on set, traveling, and immersed in projects that demanded time and focus. For Lane, these years reinforced her pattern of prioritizing family and personal boundaries, even as Hollywood curiosity swirled around her. Despite the eventual divorce, Lane and Brolin's marriage left an enduring impression on how she navigates romantic relationships. Unlike fleeting celebrity flings, this was a multi-year partnership with depth, shared responsibilities, and mutual respect, even when the pressures of fame and differing career paths created tension. Their story underscores the complexities of celebrity marriages, where love and commitment intersect with the demands of high-profile careers. Lane's time with Brolin also reflects the broader theme of discretion and personal agency that has defined much of her romantic life. Even amid media speculation, she has consistently maintained control over the narrative, emphasizing privacy over publicity. In looking back, this marriage stands as a testament not only to the challenges of high-profile relationships, but also to Lane's unwavering commitment to living life on her own terms, balancing love, family, and career with a quiet resilience that continues to define her public persona. Before Diane Lane became one of Hollywood's most quietly respected stars, she was linked to Jon Bon Jovi, the charismatic frontman of the rock band Bon Jovi in the mid-1980s. Number 5. Jon Bon Jovi. At the time, both were young and emerging in their respective industries. Lane, an actress already recognized for her roles in A Little Romance and The Outsiders, and Bon Jovi, a musician on the rise, soon to become a global rock icon. The two reportedly shared a brief romance that drew the curiosity of gossip columns, though Lane has never publicly confirmed the relationship. Media accounts from the era painted it as a quintessential Hollywood fling, a short-lived but high-profile connection between a young actress and a rock star, emblematic of the fast-paced social scene of 1980s New York and Los Angeles. While the romance was never documented with public appearances or extensive press coverage, it has persisted in celebrity histories as a fleeting chapter in Lane's personal life. The speculation around their connection highlights how Lane, even in her early career, attracted the attention of prominent figures in entertainment, reflecting both her talent and charisma. Even though the relationship was brief, it occurred during a formative period for Lane, when her career was accelerating and she was establishing a reputation for choosing projects that reflected her artistic sensibilities rather than chasing tabloid fame. The reported link to Bon Jovi also underscores the way Hollywood and the music industry often intersected during that era, with actors and musicians circulating in overlapping social circles. Friends, colleagues, and party scenes created opportunities for connections that were exciting, yet often ephemeral. For Bon Jovi, who was in the early stages of his meteoric rise, with hits like Livin' on a Prayer and You Give Love a Bad Name, soon to dominate the charts, a brief romance with an actress like Lane fits the pattern of celebrity interactions at the time. Intense, highly visible in some circles, and often short-lived. For Lane, it was part of a broader pattern of experiences that shaped her understanding of love, discretion, and the boundaries between public and private life. While this chapter remains mostly a matter of media speculation rather than verified fact, it illustrates an important facet of Diane Lane's history. She has always navigated Hollywood relationships with careful discretion. Even early in her career, she prioritized privacy, a choice that would become a defining characteristic in all her subsequent romantic chapters, from brief flings to long-term marriages. Number 4. Richie Sambora. Diane Lane's reported connection with Richie Sambora, Bon Jovi's longtime guitarist and bandmate, adds an intriguing footnote to her romantic history, though it is important to note that this relationship remains unconfirmed by Lane herself. Media outlets from the late 80s and early 90s speculated that Lane and Sambora had a brief romantic involvement, likely following her rumored fling with Jon Bon Jovi. While the timing and details are vague, the reports reflect the Hollywood tendency to link rising stars with prominent musicians, especially in overlapping social circles. Sambora, who was already gaining fame as the guitarist behind one of rock's biggest acts, was navigating life on tour and in the spotlight. Lane, at the time, was transitioning from her early teen roles into more mature performances, taking on projects that showcased her depth and versatility as an actress. The two reportedly moved in similar social spheres in Los Angeles and New York, where film premieres, charity events, and industry gatherings often brought actors and musicians together. Even a fleeting connection between them would have fit naturally into this milieu, though Lane's famously private nature ensured that few details ever emerged publicly. The speculation surrounding Sambora also highlights the broader context of Lane's life in Hollywood. While gossip columns frequently tried to trace her romantic life, Lane rarely confirmed or denied such reports, a choice that emphasized her focus on career and personal discretion. This rumored link, like others from that period, demonstrates how young actresses in Hollywood often became subjects of media fascination, with even brief encounters exaggerated into public narratives. Though brief and speculative, the rumored connection with Sambora provides insight into Lane's early adult life, where personal relationships intersected with professional opportunities and public attention. It also illustrates the patterns of media reporting at the time. The proximity of celebrities, especially those in music and film, often led to assumptions of romantic involvement that may or may not have been accurate. Lane, with her preference for privacy, has consistently avoided confirming such narratives, which only adds to the mystique surrounding these early chapters in her personal life. Ultimately, the story of Diane Lane and Richie Sambora, whether factual or speculative, underscores a recurring theme in Lane's life: the balance between public curiosity and private discretion. Even in the midst of Hollywood speculation, Lane maintained control over her own narrative, ensuring that her relationships, rumored or confirmed, remained largely outside the tabloids' full gaze. This approach to privacy has become a defining feature of her personal and professional legacy. Number 3. Timothy Hutton. After the media buzz surrounding her rumored flings with Jon Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, Diane Lane was reportedly linked to Oscar-winning actor Timothy Hutton in the late 80s and early 90s. Hutton, known for his Academy Award-winning performance in Ordinary People, was a rising star in Hollywood, recognized for his dramatic range and charismatic presence. The reported connection between Lane and Hutton was brief and largely private, consistent with Lane's long-standing preference for discretion in her personal life. Like several of her early relationships, this one remained largely outside the public eye, leaving most details unconfirmed. While tabloids and entertainment magazines occasionally mentioned their association, there is no documented confirmation from either Lane or Hutton regarding the nature of their relationship. Nevertheless, these reports highlight how Lane's career trajectory often intersected with prominent actors of the era. At this point in her life, she was transitioning into more mature roles in films such as The Cotton Club and Rumble Fish, earning critical recognition that cemented her as a serious talent in Hollywood. Hutton, meanwhile, was continuing to establish his career, taking on diverse roles in both film and television. The speculation surrounding their rumored relationship reflects broader patterns of Hollywood reporting in that era. Young, talented actors, particularly women like Lane, were often linked to established or rising male stars, even when the connections were minimal or purely social. In Lane's case, her reluctance to confirm or discuss these rumors contributed to her enigmatic public persona, reinforcing her reputation as a private individual who values her personal life over tabloid notoriety. Even though the Hutton connection was brief and unverified, it provides insight into Lane's life during a formative period. It was a time when she was navigating early adulthood, career growth, and the demands of Hollywood while maintaining a careful balance between personal relationships and public scrutiny. The rumored link to Hutton, like other fleeting romances, illustrates the types of interactions and social networks that surrounded young actors in Los Angeles and New York during this period. Ultimately, Diane Lane's reported relationship with Timothy Hutton underscores a recurring theme in her life: the ability to experience connection and companionship without allowing it to define her public identity. Lane's approach to such relationships, keeping them private, selective, and largely shielded from media scrutiny, has allowed her to maintain a career defined by artistry rather than gossip, and a personal life protected from the invasive curiosity that often accompanies fame. Number 2. Danny Cannon. Following her divorce from Christopher Lambert, Diane Lane was reportedly linked to British director Danny Cannon in the mid-1990s. Cannon, known for his work on films such as Judge Dredd and later as a creator and director for television series like Gotham, was emerging as a creative force in the industry. While the relationship was brief and never publicly confirmed by Lane, media speculation at the time suggested that the two shared a personal connection during a period of transition in Lane's life, both professionally and personally. At this point in her career, Lane was solidifying her reputation as an actress capable of delivering nuanced and compelling performances. Her work in films like A Walk on the Moon, 1990s, and her continued stage appearances demonstrated her commitment to versatility and depth, even as her personal life occasionally attracted media attention. Cannon, meanwhile, was expanding his career across both British and American film and television, a dynamic that likely brought both excitement and logistical challenges to any budding relationship. The reports of Lane's connection with Cannon, although unconfirmed, highlight the pattern of her life during the 1990s, navigating Hollywood relationships with discretion and selective exposure. Unlike the brief but highly publicized flings often depicted in tabloids, Lane's rumored romance with Cannon remained largely private, underscoring her consistent preference for maintaining boundaries between her personal and professional worlds. Friends and colleagues reportedly observed their connection at industry events and social gatherings, but Lane's careful avoidance of the press ensured that the relationship never became a public spectacle. Even as media outlets speculated, Lane's focus remained firmly on her craft. The mid-90s represented a critical period in her career, with projects that would define her trajectory as a leading actress capable of embodying complex, emotionally resonant characters. The rumored involvement with Cannon, brief though it may have been, occurred within the context of a career in motion, one that demanded both dedication and personal resilience. Ultimately, the story of Diane Lane and Danny Cannon reflects her consistent approach to romance and publicity. Even when media speculation suggested romantic ties, Lane maintained control over the narrative, ensuring that her personal life did not overshadow her artistic achievements. This brief chapter, whether fully factual or largely speculative, serves as another example of how Lane navigates Hollywood relationships with grace, discretion, and an unwavering focus on her career, prioritizing her privacy while continuing to evolve as an actress and public figure. Number 1. Matthew McConaughey. While Diane Lane was never romantically involved with Matthew McConaughey, the actor has publicly mentioned that Lane was his first crush, offering a glimpse into the admiration she inspired even among her peers in Hollywood. McConaughey, who would go on to become an Academy Award-winning actor known for roles in Dallas Buyers Club, Interstellar, and True Detective, spoke about Lane with a mix of nostalgia and respect, highlighting her early influence on young actors and the impression she made in Hollywood long before she became a household name. This anecdote reflects Lane's enduring presence and charisma, even outside the scope of romantic relationships. For McConaughey, Lane represented a combination of talent, beauty, and poise that left a lasting mark on his memory of Hollywood in the 1980s. At the time, Lane was transitioning from a teen actress into mature roles, capturing attention with her performances in A Little Romance, The Outsiders, and Rumble Fish. Her ability to command the screen at a young age made her an admired figure among her peers, earning not only critical acclaim, but also admiration from colleagues. Though their connection never extended beyond admiration, McConaughey's recollection underscores how Lane's career and personal presence resonated beyond on-screen performances. Hollywood is a place of fleeting encounters, intense work schedules, and interconnected social circles. And even a professional admiration like McConaughey's illustrates Lane's influence on those around her. It also shows that, even in stories about celebrity crushes, Lane's privacy and professionalism remained intact. She was never part of a publicized romantic narrative with McConaughey. Yet her presence left an impression that endured over the years. This story also highlights a pattern that has defined much of Lane's life: a careful separation of public persona and private reality. Unlike some stars whose early crushes or rumored relationships become tabloid fodder, Lane's life demonstrates discretion and control, allowing admiration, respect, and professional associations to exist without spilling into sensationalized stories. Ultimately, the anecdote about McConaughey serves as a unique inclusion in Lane's romantic history. While Diane Lane's connection with Matthew McConaughey does not constitute a formal romantic relationship, it adds a subtle but meaningful layer to the story of her early career, highlighting the impact she had on peers and the broader entertainment industry. Even in anecdotes of admiration or fleeting crushes, Lane's presence was powerful enough to leave a lasting impression, reflecting both her natural charisma and her professional gravitas. This particular story underscores how her influence extended beyond the screen, shaping how fellow actors and contemporaries perceived her talent and poise. At the same time, it reinforces her long-standing commitment to privacy and discretion. Lane has consistently maintained control over her personal narrative, ensuring that admiration, whether platonic, professional, or speculative, never became fodder for tabloids or sensationalist coverage. The anecdote thus illustrates a defining trait of Lane's public persona: a quiet, respected figure in Hollywood whose work, presence, and professionalism are remembered and admired long after the fleeting stories surrounding her youth. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and click on the next video shown on your screen.